13 Narcissistic manipulation tactics you need to know. Manipulative relationships are abusive and extremely harmful. It may be the most horrific encounter a person ever has. Victims of this sort of abuse are frequently oblivious to the deception. They rarely suspect that those who should love them the most are employing psychological control tactics. Instead of bringing joy and boosting success, these loved ones become impediments to progress. So, how should we deal with these kinds of relationships? The harsh reality is that changing the conduct of a narcissist is nearly difficult. Usually, walking away is the best option. However, having a narcissist in your life becomes considerably more difficult whether that person is a parent, relative, spouse, or any major figure in your life. When you recognize their manipulative tactics, you can respond positively, outwitting them and safeguarding yourself from damage. Here are 13 techniques narcissists use to manipulate you. Enmeshment is ranked first. Narcissists have little problem disregarding boundaries, and this disrespect can escalate into manipulation. Enmeshment is a phrase used to describe partnerships in which personal boundaries are unclear. Manipulators will say or do whatever they want toward you, in front of you, or behind your back without regard for another person's personality and specific requirements. Protesting or appealing to morality will have no effect. This process is sometimes hidden and the damage grows over time until it's too late. Enmeshment prevents you from expressing your emotions, seeking support, and creating appropriate boundaries. It makes making beneficial adjustments difficult for yourself and those you care about. Deflection, diversion, and evasion? No. 2. This approach is used by narcissists to avoid answering direct questions and being caught in lying. They may deflect by shifting the focus of the conversation to you, divert by shifting the focus to something else, or avoid by answering with something unconnected, ambiguous, or meaningless. The purpose of the narcissist is to confuse and redirect attention. They won't have to accept responsibility for their actions this way. Amplification is number 3. When it comes to personal relationships, narcissists try to exaggerate failure and ignore achievement. Your accomplishments will go unappreciated and uncelebrated, while your flaws and failures will be exposed in agonizing detail. The ultimate purpose is to denigrate you so that the narcissist may take center stage. Finding success will be more difficult when you are exhausted and full of doubt. 4th, emotional barriers. Narcissists will exploit your emotions. When you are displeased about anything they have done, they focus on your negative emotions rather than their actions. When you object to their horrible behavior, they will degrade you, and they may even attack you for your pleasant emotions. Over time, this manipulative technique will drive you to conceal your feelings. It permits the narcissist to avoid responsibility while maintaining power. No. 5. Shaming. Most manipulators understand how to use the agony of shame as a weapon. That's why they enjoy humiliation so much. Their favorite insults are those that highlight disdain, contempt, or disappointment, and they prefer to use them in front of an audience. The purpose is to instill emotions of worthlessness and inadequacy in you, which will force you to submit. If you succumb to this trick, you may find yourself imprisoned in a vicious loop of negative thought patterns and sensations. 6th, infantilize. This is another prevalent form of manipulation. Narcissists will dismiss your emotional or psychological maturity by emphasizing your lack of life experience or expertise. They decrease your place in the social structure and take away your power to make judgments by lowering you to the status of a child in both your thoughts and theirs. This allows the manipulator to maintain complete control. 7th, rationalization. When a narcissist is unable to avoid their conduct, they rationalize it. Their justifications and excuses are frequently devoid of valid reasoning or perspectives. Even though these rationalizations are full of lies, others will often believe them and regard their side as understandable or even acceptable, especially if these lies are propagated behind your back. The manipulator's story will most likely change depending on who they are speaking with. The ultimate goal is to avoid ridicule. The narcissist wants you off their case so they may continue to act entitledly. They want you to believe you're stupid, inexperienced, or simply don't comprehend them. No. 8. Triangulation. If you fall victim to triangulation, the manipulator will purposefully avoid communicating with you while turning other members of your group against you. This type of bullying can take many different shapes depending on the circumstances, but it nearly always includes gaslighting or some other covert aspect that sets you against others. You may not even be aware of what is going on. The objective is to divide and conquer. The manipulator can take control once you've been disconnected from your support system. Covert aggressive abuse is ranked 10th. Narcissists enjoy disguising their cruelty. They will disguise insults as beneficial advice, lessons, or viable solutions. You may be led to believe that the manipulator genuinely wishes to assist you. The advice may be met with criticism or disappointment, either from the narcissist or their minions who believe you are lesser. This manipulative technique is intended to degrade and demean. The narcissist has the ability to control you while cleaning up their destructive trails. Number 11. Prepare for failure. Narcissists enjoy seeing their victims in stressful situations, and they get a kick out of creating these scenarios. That is why they set their victims up for failure. The failure is then exploited to discredit and blame the target of their influence. This manipulation strategy is frequently used secretly through sabotage or undermining an achievable goal. When narcissists do this, they may be projecting their personal emotions of inadequacy onto their victims. No. 12. Vilification. This strategy will make you appear defensive while shifting the responsibility away from the narcissist. As a result of you addressing their conduct or your needs and boundaries, the manipulator falsely accuses you of being the abuser. This may be recognized as gaslighting. Finally, you will doubt your position and your emotions. The purpose of vilification is to instill self-resentment and guilt in you, placing you in the wrong before you recognize what's going on. Playing the victim? No. 13. Even if narcissists make others victims, they like playing the victim. They will justify the actions or seek attention by stating that their misery is the result of a circumstance or another person. You can spot this tactic when they say they had no other option or if they constantly complain. They may even claim that the person they are manipulating is the one who is manipulating them. Narcissists do this to gain sympathy, or compassion from others. It allows them to avoid blame while gaining support from more unwitting victims. The ultimate goal of a narcissist is control. Victims' sense of autonomy is eroded, their identity is eroded, and their social standing is diminished as a result of these manipulation tactics. Once debilitated, the manipulator has complete control over their victims. Although these behaviors indicate antisocial traits that indicate personality disorders, almost everyone exhibits some of these behaviors at some point in their lives. Identifying patterns is the key to recognizing an unhealthy relationship with a manipulative person. Because many of these tactics are subtle, it may take years to notice the insidious patterns of abuse, especially if you have a history of abuse or are a person who is overly forgiving. However, once you understand these strategies and